Coming up, it's March Madness, and on this special NJCAA Tournament edition of the Raptor Report, we'll give you an in-depth look at the Montgomery College women's basketball team's journey through the postseason. The Raptors punched their ticket to nationals by bringing home the District G crown. A hungry Middle Georgia team was no match for them in the district game, and the Raptors were on their way to Rochester, Minnesota for the NJCAA Tournament. How'd they do? Stay tuned. It's a remarkable story about a team destined to go down as one of the greats in MC history. On this special edition of the Raptor Report, starting now. Hello everybody and welcome to the Raptor Report. I'm Michael Brown. Just weeks ago, few who followed the Raptors women's basketball team would have expected a deep run into the postseason. Injuries and all sorts of adversity had depleted the team, leaving a very, very thin bench and absolutely no margin for error. And even head coach Tarlouh Gasque, normally a very optimistic person, had serious doubts about the Raptors' chances in the postseason. The Raptors stumbled in the Maryland JUCO tournament, but that loss helped the team to refocus. Next up was the Region 20 tournament, and if you caught our last show, you'll know that despite their small numbers, the Raptors rolled. They clobbered both PG Community College and CCAC boys to claim the region crown. The Region 20 win set up the district championship game against the Middle Georgia Technical College Titans, a team that had pulled off 2 upset wins to grab the Region 17 title. They came in with a tall lineup that featured the 2-time Georgia Collegiate Athletic Association Player of the Year, Ashley West. The game started slowly, with each team feeling each other out, but it was clear from the outset that it would be a physical game as both teams opened with tough nose-to-nose defense, and the battle in the paint was definitely not for the faint of heart. MC grabbed the early lead and held it throughout the first 20 minutes, but Middle Georgia hung tough and trailed by just 10 at the half. But it was a different Raptors team in the second half. They turned up the intensity at both ends of the court, started pounding the ball inside to Jocelyn Martin, snagged steal after steal, and ran at every opportunity. They quickly built on their halftime lead, never looked back, and just blew the doors off the Titans. It was all MC for the entire second half, and in the end, it was the Raptors cutting down the nets, as they claimed the District G championship with a convincing 72-36 win over the Titans. 4 Raptors scored in double figures as Jocelyn Martin was named the game's MVP. Martin controlled the paint, scoring 15 points and adding 14 rebounds. Freshman Angelica Ceccone led the team with 17 points, grabbed 8 rebounds, and picked off 4 steals. Co-captain Jameelah Thalley contributed 15 points, 7 rebounds, 4 steals, and 5 assists. Sophomore Kapria Redparth was her usual spectacular self on both ends of the floor, scoring 10 points, grabbing 14 rebounds, and posting 3 block shots. And guard Jartu Toweh added 9 points, 6 rebounds, and 12 assists as the Raptors successfully defended their District G title.
And here we go. Montgomery College will be going to the National Championship Tournament as they win the ball game 72-36. It was 30-20 at halftime, 72-36. Montgomery College has won the NJCAA District G Championship and will now advance to the National Championships in Rochester, Minnesota.
What do you got to say about this team right now?
I'm proud of them. We've gone through a lot, injuries, a lot of adversity, and we made it through, and I'm really proud of you ladies. That's the way to play.
You must have had quite a message for him at halftime, because the difference between the first half and the second half was night and day.
The message was, it's time to pick it up. Pick it up. play some defense, and that's what we did. That's how you win championships. You play defense.
How does it feel to be going back to nationals 2 straight years?
It's really exciting. I'm just happy that it's over with, and that, well, it's not over with, but I'm happy that we've gotten over this hurdle to go to nationals.
And Jameelah, I know you were in a lot of pain today at times. You played great. How does it feel for you?
I feel really good. We accomplished a lot, and all I can say is, where we going?
That win set up the Raptors' second straight trip to the NJCAA Tournament, where the Raptors placed 4th last year, fielding a team with a deep bench. This year's trip might have been just a bit sweeter in the end, because given all the adversity this team has gone through, especially in the last month leading up to the postseason, not many would have predicted it. The next step on their journey was the big one, the NJCAA National Championship Tournament at Rochester Community and Technical College in Minnesota. The Raptors were seeded 5th in the field of 8, the 8 best Division III women's basketball teams in the nation, led by top-seeded and defending national champion, the Rock Valley College Golden Eagles from Illinois. Their trip got off to an inauspicious start as the team's flight was delayed more than 7 hours due to a mechanical problem. The team literally spent the entire day in the terminal at National Airport, waiting and passing the time by sleeping, studying, and playing games. It was frustrating and tiring, and by the time they arrived at their hotel in Rochester, it was well past midnight. Planned activities were canceled because of the delay, including an outing to the Mall of America. But despite the late night, the team had a spirited workout the next day at the Rochester Sports Center and then really enjoyed themselves that evening at the NJCAA National Championship Banquet. The next morning brought more troubling news as we found out that co-captain and starting guard Jameelah Thalley had come down with a respiratory illness. She'd had a sleepless night, was very congested, and was suffering from chills. But this young woman is amazingly determined, and nothing or no one could keep her off the court. Plus, she received excellent care all day long from team trainer Gori Shavan. So Thalley and the rest of the Raptors completed a morning shoot-around at the arena and then met to discuss strategy for their opening round matchup.
Remember the spin? Okay, be ready for the spin. Stand there. Post players, you're in there, just stand. Do not move. Don't try to adjust. Don't do anything. Just stand there. Okay? We did that against Westmoreland. It worked pretty well.
In Game 1, they went up against the number 4 seed, Anoka Ramsey. The Golden Rams were favored over the 5th-seeded Raptors, and their speed, shooting, and disciplined attack made them an especially tough first-round foe. They also have quite a history with the NJCAA Tournament, having won it a record 7 times, including just 2 years ago in 2011. So now the shorthanded Raptors were really up against it. A first-round NJCAA National Championship matchup against a perennial powerhouse, and MC was well below full strength going in. Anoka started the game on fire from 3 and took an early 5-0 lead. MC started slowly and missed their first few shots, something we've seen throughout the year. Jocelyn Martin finally got them on the board, and that was a strong portent of things to come. But the Golden Rams just couldn't seem to miss, especially from 3, and they led most of the first half. At one point, their lead swelled to 9 points after a 13-3 run as guard Cammie Bauer and forward Nicole Schaub swished jumper after jumper. Martin kept the Raptors close with strong post play, and she got plenty of support from Angelica, Ceccone, and Kapria Redparth. Those 3 kept the Raptors in it when it seemed like Anoka might run away with it. The Raptors put up a 10-3 run near the end of the first half, fueled by Martin and Ceccone, with a big contribution from the ailing Thalley. That run cut the Golden Rams' lead to just 1 at the half. Martin had 17 first-half points, Ceccone 12, and Redparth 7. Thalley played through illness to record 9 rebounds and 6 assists, and the Raptors were dominating the boards 33-20. Bauer led Anoka with 12, Schaub had 8, and Gonzalez 7. And 3-pointers were the reason Anoka was on top, as they made 8 of 19 for the half.
In the beginning, I think we had to adjust. We've been telling the girls that this was a three-point shooting team. That's all they do, basically shoot threes. And so we're aware of that, and I think it took them a while to kind of adjust and realize that exactly what that meant.
At halftime, Raptors head coach Tarlouh Gasque told her team to get the ball inside, and that's just what they did, feeding Martin, Redparth, and Ceccone. The strategy worked. The Raptors also started playing better defense against the three, and early in the second half, the Raptors took the lead. Martin, Toweh, and Redparth all hit key shots to fuel the Raptors' run. But despite the lead change, there was concern on the Raptors bench. Thalley was out of the lineup at the start of the half. Her illness had gotten worse. She was literally throwing up on the sideline. It didn't look so good for her. But somehow she found the inner strength to play, contributing several key assists and rebounds. She even managed to find her scoring touch. With the offense now clicking, the Raptors extended their lead to 12 with about 10 minutes left in the game. Then more trouble arose when Redparth picked up her fourth foul and had to take a seat. Now even more shorthanded, the Raptors were really up against it, and the Golden Rams started chipping away at the lead. With the lead down to less than 6 points, Coach Gasque had to put Redparth back in. But she quickly picked up her fifth foul and was forced to leave the game. Gasque went with Ashley Ladder, and she came through with several key baskets, including 2 off beautiful assists from Thalley. Martin continued her dominating play down low, even without her partner Redparth, as the Raptors tried to stem the Golden Rams' charge. Martin, Toweh, and Thalley hit key foul shots late in the game. The Raptors managed to handle Anoka's pesky press, and they did a good job of stopping the three. The result was an 84-77 win and an upset over higher-seeded Anoka Ramsey. Ceccone finished with 15 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. Redparth had 13 points, 11 rebounds, Toweh 10 points and 6 rebounds, and despite fighting against illness, the indomitable Thalley put up a double-double, finishing with 13 rebounds and 11 assists on top of her 8 points. The big difference in the game, though, was the dominant play of Jocelyn Martin. Joe, as her teammates call her, finished with 31 points and 12 rebounds. Martin was in such a zone that she didn't realize what kind of numbers she'd put up until this exchange in the locker room post-game.
And Joe had 31 points. This is the best performance I've seen her have, but I'm not surprised. I knew what Jocelyn could do from day one. And I told her before the game, nobody can stop you. You just need to go out there and play your game. And that's what she did. Once she plays her game, nobody can stop her.
Coach G told me to keep my head and told me that nobody can stop me if I play my game. So I just took her words and kept them in my head the whole game and just played my game.
The win over Anoka Ramsey set up a Game 2 matchup against the #1 team in all the land, the Rock Valley Golden Eagles, the defending national champions. This game was also a rematch of the 2 teams meeting in last year's tournament. Rock Valley edged the Raptors by 5 in overtime in that one, and the Raptors remembered that defeat all too well. Rock Valley is a tough, hard-nosed team. They're full of All-Americans, and they came out very fast, aggressive, and physical in the first half, hitting threes and playing tough, full-contact defense. The Raptors appeared on their heels a bit at the outset and seemed taken aback by the aggressive and overtly physical play of the Golden Eagles, and the officials had apparently decided to let them play in the early going. Rock Valley guard Tarika Lindsay was on fire from 3 and led them to an early first-half lead. The Golden Eagles controlled the action, made numerous runs, including a 10-0 run midway through the half, as the Raptors found themselves trailing by as many as 20 points. And ominously, several key Raptors picked up early fouls. Never fully in sync, the Raptors found themselves down by 16 at the half. Raptors head coach Tarlouh Gasque directly challenged her team, told them they were playing into the hands of the Golden Eagles, letting the trash talk get to them, and she forcefully stated they were not playing MC basketball. She told them to pound the ball inside, do a better job of protecting the rock, and to step up the defensive intensity.
You all need to look at me because everybody's got their head down like you've given up. Have you given up? No. Are we done? Okay, then you need to go out there with that attitude.
The Raptors responded and came out strong in the second half, quickly cutting into the Rock Valley lead. But just when the momentum seemed to be shifting MC's way, Martin picked up her fourth foul and had to sit for a decisive portion of the second half. This should have been fatal, but the undermanned Raptors showed their true heart and grit and continued to chip away at the lead. They were more aggressive on both ends of the court. Their shots started falling, and with about 8 minutes to go, the Rock Valley lead was under 10, the closest it had been since early in the first half. Gasque then decided to roll the dice and put Martin back in with about 7 minutes to go. She scored almost immediately, but then quickly picked up her fifth and final foul on a questionable call and was forced out of the game. Despite that roundhouse blow, there was no shortage of determination in this Raptors squad. They played with unbelievable resolve and continued to dig out of the hole they had dug for themselves in the first half. And with 4 minutes to go, they found themselves within 6 points. But that was their high water mark. They could get no closer. Their fate was sealed when they lost Jartu Toweh on yet another highly questionable foul call with about 2 minutes to go. The Golden Eagles held on to win the national semifinal game by 12, 72-60. At the end of the game, the Raptors were totally spent. They had given every ounce of energy they had in a valiant effort. When the final buzzer sounded, Jameelah Thalley collapsed on the bench. Despite the respiratory illness she was suffering from, she had played her heart out for 40 minutes and had absolutely nothing left to give. She had to be carried into the locker room, where she was attended to by MC trainer Gory Sivan. For almost 2 hours after the game, she was still on her back on the floor of the locker room. But when I saw her, there was a hint, a glimmer of the Jameelah smile, and the team took solace that she would be fine. Redparth, who was coming down with the same illness that afflicted Thalley, was also totally exhausted, as she had played all but 30 seconds of the game. The Raptors were downcast and emotional after the game, but Coach Gasque, while disappointed, was nothing but proud of her team.
Yeah, we're disappointed. You know, this isn't what we expected, but you can't hang your head. They played. If they had laid down and just let this team just roll all over us and beat us by 30 or 40 points, then I can see feeling real bad about it. But they stood up. You know, they stepped up, and you know, I'm proud of them. I don't think they have anything to hang their heads about.
The Raptors had outplayed Rock Valley in the second half. They played hard, they had played with class, and they'd represented MC well with supreme effort and good sportsmanship. But their dream of a national championship was over. They had almost dug their way out of that first half hole and came ever so close to pulling off an improbable upset over a very deep #1 team, the defending national champion. Despite playing sick, both Thalley and Redparth recorded double-doubles. Thalley finished with 15 points and 10 rebounds, and Redparth added 14 points and 12 boards. Ceccone played with heart, which was inspirational, especially after being leveled on the opening tip. The young freshman had 15 points and 8 rebounds. But the key to the game was that foul trouble limited Martin to just 7 points. The loss to Rock Valley meant the Raptors would now play the Roxbury Community College Tigers in the 5th game. The winner would finish 3rd in the country, the loser would be 5th in the nation. And there was no doubt that the game would be won by the team that was fresher after 3 consecutive days of high-stress basketball. At MC's team meeting, the best news was that a determined Jameelah Thalley had recovered enough so that she'd be able to play at least part of the game. She'd been treated all night by Coach Gasque, assistant coach Melissa Weithman, trainer Sivan, and her roommate Ashley Latter. And after a decent night's sleep, she woke up feeling better and literally begging to play. Both teams came out aggressively and the action was end-to-end, but neither team's shots were falling. MC took an early lead, but Roxbury finally got it going, went on an 8-0 run to take a lead they maintained throughout the half. MC was uncharacteristically plagued by poor shooting and turnovers. The Raptors shot just 20% from the field in the first half and made no three-pointers, and that's normally a big part of their offense. At one point, they found themselves trailing by 10. But their defense and rebounding were working, and that helped keep the score close. A 6-0 run by the Raptors at the end of the first half cut the Roxbury lead to 6 as the Raptors went to the locker room trailing 27-21. At the half, Coach Gasque was not at all happy and had no problem letting her team know it. She implored them to run their offense, pound it inside, and attack the basket. Coach G was chagrined that the Raptors seemed hesitant against the Roxbury zone defense. On the plus side, she loved the defense her team was playing, as well as their rebounding.
Come on.
6 points, guys.
I'm frustrated because you all just are not doing what you need to do. And this could be a much easier game. So please.
Let's do this. Come on.
Raptors on 3. 1, 2.
Win on 3.
Win on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Win!
The Raptors responded and came out strong in the second half. They quickly cut into the Tigers' advantage and finally took the lead with about 15 minutes left to play. Coach Gasque's message must have gotten through because they pounded the ball inside to Martin and Redparth, while Ceccone and Toweh attacked the basket. But then foul trouble reared its head again, as it had the night before against Rock Valley. This time it was Redparth who had to take a seat, picking up her 4th foul just after she had led the Raptors to their first lead since early in the game. With Redparth on the bench, the Raptors really missed her rebounding, her offense, and her ability to outrun anyone on the break. But despite all of that, the Raptors were still able to build a 4-point lead. But there was no breathing easy because Roxbury would not go away. After trading baskets for the next several minutes, Redparth's absence began to take a toll. Roxbury was getting numerous second and third shot opportunities and eventually retook the lead after a telling run. At that point, Coach Gasque had no choice but to put Redparth back into the game. But she picked up her 5th and final foul almost immediately and was gone. Looking back now, this was the final turning point. Shorthanded going into the game, they were now without one of their key offensive and defensive stars. But one thing we've learned about this team is that there is not an ounce of quit in them. They continue to give maximum effort, but their shots just stop falling. All night long, they were missing shots they normally make, which is often a sign of fatigue. Tired legs often lead to poor shooting form, and this was indeed the case for the Raptors. They just ran out of gas. Roxbury had a much deeper team and was able to sub in 4 players at a time to keep the team fresh. That fact enabled them to rebuild a lead that held, and they ended up winning by 11, 65-54. For the game, Jocelyn Martin led the Raptors with 17 points and 14 rebounds, another double-double for the sophomore. Ceccone added 14 points and 6 rebounds, and Toweh and Redparth each chipped in 8 points. Point guard Toweh also added 13 rebounds. And Jameelah Thalley ended up playing over 35 minutes, the night after she had collapsed from fatigue, and she contributed 8 rebounds. But as a team, they shot just 28.8 from the field and had no three-pointers. The first time all season, they failed to hit at least 1 3. In addition, they had 21 turnovers, which is well over their season average. Poor shooting and turnovers are often signs of fatigue. The undermanned Raptors had played their hearts out, but just had nothing left in the tank after 3 games in 3 days. The little team that could was disappointed, but they have nothing to hang their heads about. This shorthanded team finished 5th in the entire nation with a record of 24-8. They won the District G Championship and the Region 20 crown. They came into the National Championship Tournament the number 5 seed, and no one really expected much from them. With just 7 players available, they were the only team in the tournament to beat a higher seeded team when they knocked off number 4 seed Anoka Ramsey in the opener. They came close to knocking off the number 1 seed in round 2 and fell just short in round 3 to the number 3 seed. This is a team that all year long consistently overcame adversity. They never hung their heads and continually exceeded expectations. And most importantly, they were wonderful representatives of Montgomery College. There is no doubt that they will go down as one of the best women's basketball teams in the long history of Montgomery College athletics. And you're going to want to stick around with us because after a quick break, we'll be meeting the coaches and players of the MC women's basketball team, live right here in the studio. You're watching the Raptor Report.
Whether you're a recent high school graduate, career-changing adult, or seeking professional or personal development, Montgomery College has what you're looking for. We offer more than 130 programs of study as well as workforce development and continuing education to prepare you for a rewarding future. Take advantage of our small class sizes, award-winning faculty, and flexible scheduling. Evening, weekend, and online classes offered. Apply today. Montgomery College, endless possibilities. 240-567-5000.
Welcome back to the Raptor Report. It's my pleasure to welcome in the head coach of the MC women's basketball team, Tarlouh Gasque, and I see you brought along a friend of yours, your top assistant, Melissa Weithman, who played here at Montgomery College and was an All-American player here at Montgomery College. Welcome and thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Well, first I want to congratulate you both on a terrific season. What are your reactions on what this team accomplished this year? Let's start with you, Coach.
I'm just proud of what we accomplished. I'm proud of the fact that we got there, and I'm proud of the way we played when we got there. So, you know, all I'll say is I'm proud.
I second that. We've definitely been dealt a nice little handful this whole season with injuries, so I'm very proud of the way that we finished this year.
Now, I know both of you are extremely competitive, and there's a fire that burns in both of you. So I know that initially, anyway, you were a little bit disappointed at finishing 5th. Of course, last year you had finished 4th. But how can you really be disappointed in this team?
Actually, I'm not disappointed in the team. I was just disappointed that we finished 5th. Just because I knew that if we had a healthy team, which we didn't have, that we could have won the whole thing. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of that, it was more just being disappointed in just what happened, you know, but I can't be disappointed in this team.
She said it all. I can't. I mean, it's a good group of girls. They did everything that we asked them to do, and once you do that, there's nothing else you can do.
It's just amazing. You know, you look at that. You look at the 7 active players on the bench going up against teams that fielded 10, 12. Mm-hmm. How is it possible for this team of 7, I call them a little team that could, yes. How is it possible for them to accomplish so much?
It's believing in themselves, and that's what I've preached a lot throughout the season, that you got to believe in yourself. Mentally, you have to be tough. So you can't focus on what I call if you look at the darkness, all you're going to see is darkness. You got to look at the light. The light is that you're able to do that. Mentally, you got to believe that you can do it because a lot of this game is mental. Mm-hmm. So if you go in thinking you're not going to do it, you're not. You got to go in thinking I can do anything, and you know that's pretty much my motto. And I've you know pushed that a lot on the team in terms of them understanding that, and I think they did.
Melissa?
Just like Coach G said about the whole mental game, 90% of it's mental. They took care of the mental part when it came down to it. And all we had to do was take care of the 10% of physical, and we took care of that in practice. They did what they had to do, and we ended up at nationals, and we did a pretty good job at it.
I'd say you did a great job. And, you know, you talk about the mental game, and when I interviewed Jameelah after the 3rd game, where, you know, she had been sick every game, and I asked her how she was able to do it, and that's what she talked about, you know, that she didn't feel well, but, you know, a lot of it was the mental aspect, and she just had to convince herself that she could do it. And, boy, she certainly did it for somebody who was as sick as she was.
Adrenaline does a lot, you know, because when you get in there, you focus on the game. If you enjoy doing that, which a lot of them, they all enjoy playing the game. So when you focus on playing the game and the adrenaline kicks in, you forget about what's bothering you. You know, it's not until afterwards and you get that, okay, you know, you sit and then go through what you just went through, and then you realize, okay, yeah, I don't feel too well, but doesn't happen during the game.
Right. Well, that was the case with Jameelah and the Rock Valley game. I mean, she absolutely laid it all out there, and at the end of the game, that was it. The tank was totally empty.
Yes, it was.
Wow, I've never seen. It was kind of scary, actually.
It actually was. She was spent. She had done everything, given everything, and what was very interesting was the very next day is, okay, so you know I'm going to play, right? You know I can play, right? I'm fine. You know. So.
And that's what we ask out of these girls. We ask for them just to give it their all. And if they end up taking a nap after a game or feigning after a game, then so be it. But the next day, they're up and ready to go.
Well, she was ready. Yeah. It was amazing. And I heard her begging you. I was at that meeting. Well, let's talk about those sophomores for a minute. You're going to lose them. That's what happens at the two-year school. You only have them for a couple of years, and off they go. What have they meant to you, both as coaches and also personally?
First of all 4 of them were on the team last year. All 4 of them averaged maybe 5 points per game each. And then to see them averaging double figures this season, they stepped up really big. They stepped up really big. So I'm just proud of them. They worked, because we do off-season workouts, whatever. They worked to get here, and they listened to what we told them to do, and that's what they did. And I think personally, I get to know every one of them because everybody's unique. So I get to learn every one of them individually, have a nice bond with each one, telling them about life, because it's not just all basketball. It's teaching them a lot about life and what they're going to do if they ever play basketball again, or if they don't, just how to go through and be a successful citizen. So I just can't say any more things about them. I really love them.
Of course, I have a different relationship with all of them, but as a team, they definitely showed the freshmen, the newcomers, how to step up and how to take care of business. They definitely stepped up in the leadership role on and off the court, and hopefully the freshmen will take that insight and continue that on for next year, but I'm definitely going to miss those girls.
Yeah, they are, each one of them is very special, and it was a pleasure for me to be able to go on the trip and to get to know them better and get to know you guys better too. But I knew you guys much better than I knew the players, and just to be around them, I mean, they're silly at times, but man, they know how to get down to business. And when they get their game faces on, wow, very impressive. They're a very impressive group of young women. They're going to be tough to replace.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, which brings up the next question. First of all, hopefully all the freshmen are coming back as far as you know?
Yes.
And what about recruiting? How are we looking?
We're looking pretty good. I've already had a couple of meetings, parent meetings with prospects that will more than likely come with posts and also with guards. We still got some scouting trips we need to go on in terms of exposure, where they're having setups where you can go and watch players play games and so forth, to talk to players and see if we see anybody that we like that kind of fits our profile. So I think it's going to be great. We got a good returning core of guards. I'm looking for a lot of post players right now because we really got a returning core, and then the incoming freshmen that I'm expecting will be pretty good.
Yeah, you're gonna lose that front court, but boy, you do have a nice nucleus coming back.
Yes.
Yeah. Mel, any thoughts on that?
Usually wherever she goes, I'm right there next to her. So the recruiting is going to get taken care of, definitely. But just the main core, they have a very good understanding of what we expect, and they know what to expect out of us. So I look forward to next year.
Well, the other thing I want to mention is one thing I had never really gotten to see. I mean, I've spent a lot of time with you guys over the years, but the meetings and the locker room part. And so impressive, the amount of preparation and detail that you guys go through for these games. I mean, I don't think anybody has any idea how much work goes into a game plan.
Yeah, if you want to win, you really need to know your opponent, because you got to believe your opponent knows you. Yeah. So there are countless hours of tape review, film review, looking at the team, looking at player tendencies, looking at their stats. There's a lot you can find out about a team just by looking at their stats. You know, we kind of put it all together and then try to put it into little pieces for the team to get, because you can't give them but too much information. But yeah, that's part of being a coach.
Well, it was great for me to see, and I want to thank you both for coming by today. I know it's a busy week. You've got player kind of closeout meetings, I think you call them, to kind of get their reflections on the year and things like that. Yes. You got recruiting, and then you got to place all these sophomores.
That's true.
So I appreciate you both taking the time to stop by and visit with us. And stick with us, because we're going to be right back. We're going to meet the sophomores that we've just been talking about. You're watching the Raptor Report. And welcome back to the Raptor Report, and I am joined by 3 of the 4 sophomore stars on the MC women's basketball team. We have Kapria Redparth, Jartu Toweh, and Jameelah Thalley. And unfortunately, your 4th member of your quartet, Joe Martin, could not join us. So we're sorry she can't be here, because she had a great tournament, didn't she?
Yes.
All right, well, let's start with those nationals. How do you guys feel about accomplishing that? I mean, you won the regions, you won the district, you made it back to nationals. How's that feel? Let's start with you, Jameelah.
It felt really good. We accomplished a lot, and we've been through so many things as a team. So I was very proud of my team for that.
It felt really good. It was actually really nice because the year before we made it there, but we lost so many people that it was really nice to make it back again, and then even losing 2 of our top scorers during the year, so it was really nice to still make it back there.
It was really good, because I'm proud of my team for making it with the little bit of people that we had on team.
Yeah, it's a major accomplishment. I mean, we were talking about it before we started here, and every other team at the Nationals went at least 8-9 deep, if not 10, and I think Rock Valley had 12. And you guys, and again, you know, Coach Gasque and I were talking, you guys came the closest of any team to beating the national champion.
Yes.
Nobody else came within 20 of them.
Every year.
We were the best competition both years,
yeah.
So we could have beat them.
Yeah, I know. Well, let's talk about the season as a whole. Jar actually mentioned it. You guys lost 5 starters from last year's team. None of you guys were starters last year. So, I mean, did you really think you were going to nationals this year at the start of the season?
I knew it was going to be hard because we lost all of our top scorers, but we had to come in over the summer workout, and we all pulled the slack and started putting in work.
Even though we lost so many people, from the beginning of the season, I believed that we could make it there. I saw the talent of the new people and the people that we had from last year, Kapria, Jameelah, and I knew it would be hard, but I wasn't surprised that we made it back.
I mean, our bench wasn't that bad last year. We had people that would come in the game and would perform well, like us. So I didn't really doubt that we weren't going to make it to nationals again.
Well, yeah, I mean, you guys were all contributors to the team last year. You just weren't starters. And I know one of the things that Coach G is most proud of is how much all three of you improved. And because you were all around the 5 points per game average, somewhere in there, and you all three ended up averaging over double figures this year. So tremendous. And I know Jar, not to single you out, but to single you out, I know that she was very impressed with your ball handling improvement, and that made a big difference this year for the team. Now, unfortunately for the three of you, your MC basketball career is over. I know that at least two, and maybe even Jar, are thinking about or will be on the track team this year. But let's talk about your favorite basketball memory here at MC as your career comes to an end here. Jameelah?
My favorite basketball memory is when we beat Monroe, which is the #1 team for D2, for the Division II level.
And that was a major thing because I think everybody that watches the Raptor Report knows D2 is a higher level, one. Players get financial aid to go there, so they have a lot of built-in advantages over D3 schools, which Montgomery College is. Jar?
That was what Jameelah said. That was one of my best memories. And also when we played Anne Arundel and Joe went coast to coast, that was it was a good but funny memory. And probably the first year we played when we went to nationals, I think it might have been against Rock Valley, I'm not sure. And Alex dove over people to get the ball that was on the floor. That was a pretty funny memory.
My favorite memory is when last year was Pebbles and Alex. It was Dundalk game, and they were both on the same team, and they were going for the same ball, and they just collapsed, and Alex fell on top of Pebbles, and I was laughing because Alex is so short, and Pebbles is like taller than her. I was wondering like how the balance went. Like, it was funny. And our memories in the team room, off the court. Obviously, yeah.
What about Coach G? What has it meant for you guys playing for her?
I don't want to play for anyone else personally, but I have to. But she's the best coach I've ever had. She taught me a lot. She showed me a different side of basketball that I didn't know before.
With Coach G, the best part about playing with her was, I guess for me, getting me to believe in myself more. Prior to coming here, my confidence wasn't as high on the floor. I mean, there's still lots of things that I could work on, but she got me to start trusting myself more and my instinct on the floor, so that was nice.
Well, Coach G is the first women's coach that I ever had. So I had all men, and they were like strict, and Coach G's just like sweet and stuff. And confidence, just like Josh said, confidence. And off the court with the homework and stuff, made me believe myself that I can do work and just focus and stuff, yeah.
That off-the-court stuff is important, that homework. You got to stay eligible, and you guys are in one of the sports that spans 2 semesters, so you're not like a football player at a big school who can do well during the fall and then just blow it off after that. You guys have to keep your grades up all year round, which is important. Well, one last quick question now. You guys are, unfortunately at Montgomery College it's 2 years and you graduate or transfer to a 4-year school. What are your plans for 4-year schools, and do you want to keep playing ball? Jameelah?
I'm not sure what school I want to attend next year, but I hope to keep playing.
Jar?
I definitely want to keep playing basketball. Just like Jameelah, I'm not sure really of anything right now, but I do want to keep playing ball.
Just like the other ladies, it's up in the air. I don't know where I want to go yet, but I definitely want to continue playing ball.
Well, from talking to Coach G, I know that the 3 of you are all getting a lot of interest from 4-year schools, and it's well-deserved. And I want to thank all 3 of you for coming in today, and I mostly want to thank you for all the pleasure that you brought me watching you guys play And being able to go on that trip with you guys and getting to know you guys better, you're three really wonderful women and great representatives of Montgomery College.
Thank you.
So thanks for coming in. And stick with us because we're going to meet some of the key freshmen from this year's women's team. You're watching the Raptor Report. Welcome back, and now I am lucky enough to be joined by three of the key freshmen on this year's MC Raptors women's basketball team. We've got Angelica Ceccone, Ashley Ladder, and Meghann Tilghman. Thanks for coming by, guys. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Well, let's start with, I mean, this was your first season for all three of you, obviously, playing college basketball. What do you think you each learned as first-year players, Meghann?
I think the biggest thing that I learned was how to manage time because, you know, basketball on top of school can get pretty hectic. And I think I managed it pretty well between, like, away games and homework. And even at nationals, it being during midweeks or midterms, it was pretty hard to do. But, yeah.
Ashley?
I learned that we have to stick together. And if we need help with, like, homework or, like, homework or just the plays we learn, to talk to each other about it, and if we need other help with like other more serious stuff, we go to our coaches.
I learned that we should probably be undefeated, so we're the favorite going into the nationals, so that the refs are on our side.
Yeah, there was some of that. We talked about that in the recap of the games. Now let's talk about the nationals. Well, you know, this was all new for you guys, I would assume. What was the experience like? Was it what you expected? Did you enjoy it?
I had a blast. It was so much fun. It wasn't really what I expected because I've been to like normal tournaments and stuff, and nationals was just like more strict and more, you know, intense. Everybody there was at such a higher level of basketball, and then I got to like not meet but come in contact with a lot of the girls from other teams. And it was cool just kind of being around people like your age and who like have the same common interests, and you ended up having a lot of fun.
Ashley?
Yeah, same thing for Meghann. Like, I had a blast. It was like the most amazing time of my life, and spending it with my team, like we're all family, so it was like a really good time.
Yeah, nationals is pretty much what I expected, except for losing. But we have a lot of characters on our team, so it was a lot of fun.
Now, what kind of, you know, the sophomores, of course, had this was their second year in a row going to the nationals. They had been there, they'd experienced it. Did they give you any advice going in?
Yeah, I know. Basically, the main thing was don't take it lightly. Like, yeah, it's fun, but you know, while you're on the court and while you're preparing for games, it's all business. And then after you win, then it can be all fun and games. But yeah, just stay focused.
Well, I was told it's okay to be nervous, but don't let it get the best of you when you're playing. Just play your game.
You just gotta leave it out on all on the court, because it is your last games of the season.
Well, I think that was true from watching these games. You guys really just laid it all out there, every game. And Meghann, I know it was absolutely killing you. For those of you who don't know, Meghann was one of the injuries that we referred to earlier in the show. Meghann tore her meniscus in the same knee that you've had other surgery, right?
Yeah.
So unfortunately, Meghann, who at the time was the second leading scorer on the team, was not able to play during the tournament. And I could just see it in your face. And a few times I asked you, how bad is it killing you? And it was like, quit rubbing it in. Yeah, well, next year you will get your opportunity there. And let's talk about next year. You all three coming back, I hope.
Yes, of course.
Okay, great. I know it's early, but what do you think the goals would be as far as you're concerned for the team?
Basically the same timeline that we did this year. Like, hopefully, I hope we end on with a better record than this year, because there are a lot of games that we really should have won. But besides having a better record, I think the same, regions and then districts and nationals, except for this time we're going to win nationals.
Ashley?
I just think that we need, when summer comes, I think we just need to all be sticking together still so we can keep the momentum of what we had last year to this year, and like Meghann said, have a better record and, bring home national next year.
Angelica?
I expect to win nationals this year. We get Meghann back, we have Daisha back, and we have a bunch of people coming in, so I expect to win.
And Ashley, let me ask you a separate question. Now, you were the soccer goalkeeper last year. Are you going to play soccer again this fall?
I think I'm not going to play this year because I want to just focus on basketball.
Okay, I was wondering because, again, those of you who don't know, Ashley suffered 2 concussions during soccer this year, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of delayed the start of basketball for you. I don't think you were able to play until maybe after the first of the year. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think I missed about 4 games.
Yeah. So you got a little, and of course you missed a lot of training because when you have those concussions, you can't even do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So they were careful with you, which is important. Well, one last question for all 3 of you. Here you are, your first year of college, and you have a coach like Coach G. How great is it to have her as your coach?
Oh man, Coach G definitely made this whole experience so much easier. She's really patient. You have to be when you're running, especially a team like the team we had this year. She made it a lot easier. She was always there, when you needed her, whether it was basketball or anything else, her door was always open. And I'm looking forward to playing for her again next year.
Ashley?
Coach G is the best coach I've ever had. Throughout high school, I don't think I've ever had a better coach than Coach G. And I can't wait for next year to come back.
We are very lucky to have a coach like her. Some people go off to college and their coaches ruin the experience for them. That's happened to a few of my former teammates. So I'm very lucky to have her as a coach.
Yeah, I think you guys are. And one of the real privileges for me going on this trip with you guys was to see her in places I'd never seen her before, like the team meetings and the locker room and, just in the airport and things like that. She's a great coach, but she's an even better person, I think. Yeah, you guys are real lucky. So, well, thanks to all 3 of you for coming in and spending some time with us. We really appreciate that. And stick with us because we'll be right back with our choice for the MCTV Sports Student Athlete of the Month. You're watching the Raptor Report.
Whether you're a recent high school graduate, career-changing adult, or seeking professional or personal development, Montgomery College has what you're looking for. We offer more than 130 programs of study as well as workforce development and continuing education to prepare you for a rewarding future. Take advantage of our small class sizes, award-winning faculty, and flexible scheduling. Evening, weekend, and online classes offered. Apply today. Montgomery College, endless possibilities. 240-567-5000.
Like us on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/Montgomery College TV.
Welcome back, and it's time to announce this month's MCTV Sports Student Athlete of the Month. Our choice this month is Ashley Ladder. Ashley is a 2-sport star at Montgomery College. She's a guard on the women's basketball team and also the starting goalkeeper on the women's soccer team. She may be small of stature, but she's a tough competitor who backs down from absolutely nothing. On the court, she's a deadeye from behind the three-point arc and handles some key defensive assignments during the national championship tournament. And as the season developed, she earned more and more playing time. On the soccer field, she was 5th in Maryland JUCO for all goalkeepers with a 1.28 goals against average, allowing only 12 goals all season. And during the season, she suffered 2 concussions while playing keeper, and those concussions delayed the start of her basketball season while she recovered. But once she started playing ball, her game showed steady improvement. The Wheaton High School grad is a physical education major and wants to move on to a 4-year school when she graduates from MC. Congratulations to Ashley Ladder, this month's MCTV Sports Student Athlete of the Month. And one last quick note before we say goodbye. I had the opportunity to travel with the women's basketball team to the national championships in Minnesota. It's an opportunity that I wouldn't have traded for anything, because what I witnessed every day of the tournament was an incredibly hard-working group of coaches and players. They're dedicated, focused, polite, respectful, and grateful for the chance to represent Montgomery College. And rest assured, they represented MC with dignity, class, good sportsmanship, and honest, hard-working effort. And I am very lucky to have been able to see all this up close. I was so impressed with each and every one of them. We here at Montgomery College can be very, very proud of this team, their coaches and their staff. They are outstanding examples of what Montgomery College is all about. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of the Raptor Report, but make sure to check back next episode. We'll be talking baseball, softball, track, and tennis. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/MCTV10 and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Montgomery College TV. Episodes of the Raptor Report and archived MCTV sports broadcasts are also available on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Montgomery College. Lots of ways to find out about upcoming games, watch past games, or keep in touch with the latest MC sports news. So we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching.